So just to start, what classes do you teach at Texas State?
I teach drawing and I teach printmaking.
So primarily I teach Bio 1331, which is organismal biology. That's a general education core curriculum course. It's designed for biology and other College of Science majors. It's a freshman level course that focuses on, the primary focus is on mechanisms of evolution. And I also coordinate the labs that go along with Bio 1331, which is Bio 1131 with 576 students.
And I've been teaching sculpture. This is going to be my 32nd year, which amazes me to think of it in terms of over 3 decades.
The major challenge for me at a personal level was that I was trying to balance. I have 2 small children. Well, not small. I have a 9-year-old and a 13-year-old. And so I was trying to teach my own children at home and also teach my my big kids at the university,
What I found challenging was, kind of meeting the needs of my students. Did they take supplies home? Were they in the process of moving? So I really rewrote all of my assignments and really pared it down to one last assignment instead of going through my normal curriculum. And then just kind of reacting to what I thought they needed, which was probably space, and then just some knowing that I was there for them.
When everything was happening last spring at Texas State, we were in Cuenca, living in an apartment in the old city, and doing our best to just understand the reality in our own circumstances and try to keep up with what was happening in the States. Being able to teach sculpture, it's a privilege and it's a joy. And it's something very special because it is very much individual training and one-on-one and a very in-depth, intensive sense of reciprocity over a number of courses with individuals. So that kind of closeness all of a sudden is in a whole different paradigm with online learning.
The advanced printmaking, you do want it to be in person because of we have to use so many large equipment. And so the students are expecting to use screen printing equipment, etching, lithography, presses they may not have at home.
Luckily, the biologists, biology educators, we don't live in a vacuum, luckily. So people from all over the country and all over the world really have been developing online content. And so people are sharing information. And so you have to kind of join communities as educators to share ideas and see what works, what doesn't work. And so luckily I've been able to kind of use stuff that's been tested before. I'm just kind of modifying it for our classes.
Is hard for students to not get that constant feedback, because creating work at home, you don't know if you're doing it right, and you don't always trust yourself as an artist or as a student. Sometimes it's just nice to get that, hey, it looks great, or hey, have you tried this? That can sometimes be missing from that online platform.
And so I've spent an enormous, as all the faculty are, we're all spending an enormous amount of time redesigning, reconfiguring how we can take that which we feel we have a grasp of when we're sitting in front of one another in a classroom or in a studio or in a laboratory, and how do we put that online? What I did was just take some time and reinvent. Basically, I've got a folder that I came up with I just labeled it COVID assignments, and little by little thought about what I still feel is very important for a student, let's say in beginning sculpture, to learn, and also very important to enjoy the experience, which is critical part of the coursework, to be engaged, to be curious, but to really enjoy the experience of making sculpture, of learning about sculpture.
Next week, I bought this little thing to hold my phone, and so I'll be trying to do all of my demos via video or, pictured PDF. So that in itself is going to take like a month. And they're hoping that we can prepare those before school starts. So, I'm going to be a YouTube star. So.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
I'm going to add more discussion board prompts each week to so I'm trying to use the technology more to really get people to engage with the material if they want, and really try and, it's a freshman level course. Not everyone's a freshman who takes it, but especially for a freshman, try and see if we can foster a sense of community, because it's a majors course. So if they're freshmen and they're majors coming in, then we want them to think of themselves as part of our community.
I understand the school wants to be optimistic and have us meet. I think they are, putting precautions in place that are helpful, where we're meeting with half of our students half of the time, half of the students the other half of the time, which I think is super helpful to ease the congestion.
The roadmap for return is for opening the campus. They are opening the campus. That's the reality. I personally, and I absolutely only speak for myself here in regards to the wonderful colleagues, friends and team we have in art and design. Speaking only for myself, I disagree with the roadmap for return. I believe that what is occurring throughout the country, but particularly in Texas and throughout the Southwest, is extremely dangerous. And it's not just dangerous for me, for you. I feel it's dangerous to your family, to my family, to our communities.
But basically what the faculty senate sent to the administration was that we want a little more flexibility in how we teach our classes, regardless of how they're coded. Is it online or face-to-face or hybrid? Let us choose how we teach our class.
The idea that I feel a guarantee on X number of thousands of students following certain protocols and behaviors, I can't. And I just don't feel that it's a safe working environment for everybody. I wouldn't call it wisdom. All I would do is plead with people to be conscientious of others, be conscientious of their families, of their own futures, to not rush their future. If it's, what is 1 year at this point? What are the options? Is it absolutely essential that you be on campus for how you want to develop your life at this age? Are there other options at this point?
I think for students, I just, think that they need to know that, instructors do care about their success, but also to be patient with us, because we're also living through the pandemic too, and that we have our own stressors at home and at work, just like they do. And, I'm trying to be mindful of the stress that students are under, and if they can be mutually respectful of that, but also to take the time that they need to take care of themselves and to communicate when things aren't going well.
to get feedback, to ask for feedback, and to ask for help, I think would be my biggest, push for students for the fall, is like, just ask for help, because we are here for you. You may not always know that, especially when you're working with a new professor, but we all want y'all to succeed and do well.
I just want students to be thinking about all these issues and to please read good books, keep reading, keep learning, that's always the hope.
Wear a mask, wash your hands, don't hang out in big groups.
Yeah.
Trust the scientists.